Iron Studios has just revealed a new statue being released soon, featuring none other than Adam Warlock himself. So let's take a closer look at this amazing cosmic sorcerer. Hey guys, so welcome back to the channel. So today we'll be diving to the new Adam Warlock statue from Iron Studios. Right, so this is a battle diorama statue based on the character himself. He was actually created to be the perfect man by a group called the Enclave. So there's actually a lot of good history behind him and in the cosmic storylines from Marvel Comics. He's been a part of a number of different cosmic teams, such as the Guardians of the Galaxy, and has even teamed up with really cool cosmic badasses such as Silver Surfer and Beta Ray Bill, right? But he's actually most known and prominent during the Infinity Gauntlet storylines from the comics in the 90s, right? So there was a lot of history there behind him, and it was actually a wielder of the Soul Stone. And the Infinity Gauntlet, unlike what we have here in the MCU, where the wielder of Soul Stone is actually Vision, right? His This costume is actually modeled also from his classic costume from the comics as well. It's not an exact one for one design because the original classic costume that appeared earlier than the 90s was more yellow, more flat. This is considered to be his more updated classic look that was modernized for the 90s or in the 90s rather moving forward. So I really like how Iron Studios has chosen to model this statue, over that costume, right? Now, in terms of dimension, this is a limited edition statue. It's a 110 scale, right? It's made in polystone. The height of it is 9.6 inches. Width is about 9.8. Depth 6.2 inches. And I believe the weight is about 1.6 pounds, right? Now, I really like how Iron Studios has also been giving us all these alternate options because you see here on the bottom, it does come with an alternate head and arm, which we'll dive more into those details later in the video. But what's really good is it allows him to be posed in a more serious versus superhero manner. So that way, it gives you a lot more different options for your displays, right? In terms of design, as we look more into the costume itself, this statue features him rather more in a superhero pose and less of a dynamic or mid-action pose. But the skin color looks amazing because they've used these kind of like light sparkles to make it seem and appear that his skin is glowing, which is very reminiscent of the comics because he is an alien with a lot of power. So they really instilled that here and allowed his skin to kind of glow and glisten really well, right? In terms of his head and face sculpt, it looks absolutely amazing, guys. I mean, his hair and the maturity and the way it sort of waves to one side looks great. There's a lot of cuts and details there that's been provided and put into the mold, which gives it an additional sort of layered feel, which is incredible. In terms of his costume here, you can also see the coloring was done very well. There's a lot of darker tones used in addition to the light ones, so it allows it to stand out more in the light better, especially because the costume itself also has these small sparkles on it. Now, in actual body, you can see this dude has an APAC, and he's incredibly chiseled, which is kind of cool. But they really made him, to be sort of like the perfect man, which is again part of that Enclave storyline, right? So they really depicted it very well. And overall, I do love the general design they've used to model after, looks great overall, right? In terms of the details, here's a nice full shot of the statue in his superhero pose. Now you do see it does, as mentioned before, come with two additional pieces. One is the extra head and one's the extra arm. But what I really like here is kind of the focal point of the design of the statue, which is the staff and his left hand, right? The head is obviously a big piece to it, but the staff really stands out. The base also, which we'll talk a little more about later in the video, but it just gives you a really nice angle to see what it comes with and how much detail it goes into this actual design, right? In terms of getting a nice close-up image, the head sculpt really features Adam, sorry, rather, with his soul stone, right? And I really like kind of what they've done with his left hand. I like the pose itself with his left hand, but I really would have liked them to add sort of like an energy ball there because he's really known to be a cosmic sorcerer. He manipulates cosmic energy. So it would have been nice for him to be holding something that relates to some sort of energy manipulation. Otherwise, it's still good because it's replaceable. But overall, the Soul Stone looks great. Love his face sculpt and just the way he's holding his staff looks amazing, right? In terms of the actual official head and hand, you can see here on his head, there's an additional head that comes with it. It gives him that more angry look. I really like the clean teeth, the jaw lines, the angry expression that they decided to use here. His face just looks very symmetrical, looks very lifelike, which I really like. Infinity Gauntlet, I mean, that in its own right looks absolutely awesome, right? So you can see he has all the Infinity Stones. The glove itself stands out very well because it has a very sheen gold color versus the cape and skin where those are a little more brighter. You can see that the stones are also easily identifiable so that when you look at his Infinity Gauntlet glove, you can see the gems on it. You don't have to really question what it is, you see it. It actually shows and emphasizes its true real power. So that's always a great thing, right? So I really like how they've added these two pieces and made them interchangeable. Now, in terms of the cape, this is incredible in terms of the actual look and feel of it because you can see all the incredible wrinkles and fold it has from left to right. It doesn't just flow to one side, which is good. In terms of the coloring, you see the amazing red to black fading on the outside of it. And then if you look on the inside, you see that yellow to black fading. So they've done a really good job of fading the colors together to give it that lifelike blend so it's not flat and it's more dynamic in terms of color tones, and it just stands out. It fits perfectly in line with the statue itself. Right now, in terms of the necklace, you can see here this is a necklace of a skull here, which is done very well in my opinion. Right, you can see a nice close details of the eye sockets, the nose sockets, the use of gold color shading to give it more like a black to gold faint look, which looks very nice. There's also some color fading around the sides, which is good. And I really like how they've done the teeth, right? Not just the center teeth, but like that walrus type teeth on the sides and how it extends properly and to become even with the center teeth have like they've just been done very well, and also like how it connects to the cape. It doesn't look loose, just where it sits and how it sits looks great, right? And now as we kind of take a closer look at the Infinity Gauntlet, this is very different than the MCU version, right? Not all of us Adam Warlock's origin storylines, right? So in terms of the Infinity Gauntlet glove, it's very different, right? The MCU version uses Tony Stark tech, whereas the original comics uses just I'll just say like a regular glove, but it still does the same thing and same purpose, which is to wield the Infinity Stones, right? Now, what I think they could have improved on a little better is just the coloring of the stones themselves. They could have maybe added a little more sheen to it so that it would be a little less dull, a little more shinier. Just because I would have liked to see a little more sheen to the stones themselves. Otherwise, they still looks pretty good. The details in the glove look amazing because you can actually see all the creases, the shading between the creases, and it just looks so realistic and lifelike, and doesn't have that like elastic glove would on a person, right? It has that lifelike sort of feel to it, which is incredible, right? So also want to next, I want to give you guys a close-up look at the staff itself because it's an amazing staff in terms of what it provides to the piece. I really love all the clean lines and details that they've used to depict sort of this bird and the wings, where you see a very nice symmetrical increase in the bird wings themselves, from the bottom up, and you also see these additional cuts below the bird's sort of beak, right, and how it layers down right to the top of the actual staff itself, right? Now, staff itself looks amazing because it has a premium feel to it, and the way they've delivered it to connect to this bird piece on top is great, right? Again, I love also the coloring that they use on the staff. It's more like a metallic gold, so it's lighter than what you see on his costume, and matches very well with the glove in terms of having that symmetrical color with the accent pieces. But I just absolutely love the premium feel to his actual staff, right? Now, in terms of the base, this is a very nice standout piece. It looks like it's remains of or rather, it looks like the remains of a temple, right? Now, I believe it was meant to represent a temple that was to be a tribute to the Marvel Comics entity known as Death. So there's a lot of lore behind there. This is testament to that actual temple. Now, there's a tremendous amount of details here, especially those skulls. You see the amazing use of cuts and how they kind of cut into the ground and include the sockets within these skulls, right? And it just feels like it was taken directly from the temple itself because it has that damage, it has that weathered look. They have a number of nice steps here as well, so that Adam looks like Adam Warlock should be walking up and down it. but just the feel, the coloring, and the intricate details here are all amazing. And I really like how they've chosen this to be the base to support Adam Warlock because it really shows you how powerful of a character he is in the Marvel universe, right? In terms of pre-ordering, it is live on Sideshow site, so feel free to use the link in our bio to help take you there if you need it. It'll run you $205, and the shipping is expected around Q2 of 2025. I think this is priced in line with what I was expecting myself. I feel like it's a nice semi-premium feeling statue without being too heavily pricey, right? Now it's not a top of the line premium statue, but for what you get, especially considering the details, the two interchangeable pieces, and just the overall look of statue, I feel like the price is right on target, right where it should be. So there you have it, guys. Thanks for joining me today as we explored the new Adam Warlock statue from Iron Studios. Are you a fan of this cosmic character and how they were able to model him here? Let me know in the comments below what really stands out to you with him, and if you plan on picking this up. And don't forget to smash that subscribe button for more content on the coolest superhero collectibles around. Until next time, folks, keep on collecting.